I don't even think I'm doing it. I can hear it in my head, but it's not like now how it starts. Like I'm right into like the excitement. Like I'm not playing any games. It's right to the bit. The theme, the twists happened. Everything's let loose. They're going to slam the door, and it's game over now. Bye. You know what I mean?
Like, please, game over. I've just heard them trying to do the theme. Game over, quick. Hello, Hellions, and welcome to another horror discussion with the Hellhound crew. Matt's taking a break today, so I'm here with Lyn, who is also taking a break from leading these things since I've disappeared the last couple of times. And we also have our wonderful chief editor, Emma, here as well. How are you both doing, guys?
Good. I'm happy to be here to talk about stuff and to actually have a conversation with people that's not my family.
I hope your family don't end up watching this.
Actually.
What about you, Lyn? How are you doing?
Yeah, I'm good. I'm excited about this discussion. I love the Saw franchise, so I'm just excited to get going. Yeah.
Fantastic. So, like as the title of the video suggests, we are actually looking at Spiral from the Book of Saw, which is the latest film in the Saw franchise. And it's the latest one. I think it was. It's the ninth film now in the series. Like,
if you're including
it's the ninth one, and the interest seems to be about the fact that it's starring Chris Rock of all people and Samuel L. Jackson. So we're going to be talking about that. I mean, I think from the time this probably goes up, it will have been out in cinemas. It'll already be out in cinemas. So hopefully we'll get to go and see it actually in the cinemas for a change, and hopefully have a review in. Possibly, we'll have to wait and see. But yeah, that's what we're going to be talking about today. So I mean, best way to kick it off, guys, is obviously we're all here because we love the Saw franchise. What is it you guys love about it?
I'll let you go first, Lindsay.
I think it all started with me with the first one because, and I love the first one. It was, it was just two guys in a room. There was, because I know that it was a very low budgeted film. It was the first one was very low budgeted. They barely had any money. I think the writer was even one of the cast members. He played Adam. The writer played Adam. And I think, I don't know, it was the twist. Like, it was just everything about it was just so interesting. And then at the end, it was just like bam, and I remember just like sitting there like with my jaw wide open, like, what just happened? I couldn't like process it in my brain. I was just like, what just happened? And it just went from there. I was just enjoying the first one and then to the second one and third one and
not another third discussion. Let's not do the third one fight.
No, like some are better than others, but yeah, I don't know. I just really enjoyed it, and I just loved all the twists and stuff. I think after a while, some of the twists, they were expected. You knew there was a twist going to happen and whatnot, but you always never really saw it coming. So yeah, I've just one of those franchises that I really love. What about you, Emma?
Well, I had only over the past week, because we were having this conversation. That was the first time I'd watched all of them in like a good few years, because I always thought like after the third one it got like, it wasn't as like the traps and stuff were more like just like, excuse my language, I say that, torture porn. Like, so there was some ones that I thought when I watched the video, because I've only ever seen them twice now, like each. So the first time I had watched it, and I'm like, no, because I have like a really bad thing about bones and stuff. So I thought sometimes they just took it too far. But then when I watched them again, I thought, okay, like, because I'm doing them all in order now, and like within like a week, it was like, oh, this is actually really good. So, but my favorite one was the second one. That's the one I think I seen it first. But that
I
was the
know
one.
why.
Um,
I know why. I know why it's your favorite.
Donnie Wahlberg.
Yes.
Yeah, that's the reason why I watched it was because Donnie Wahlberg was in it.
Yep.
But yeah, no, I'd like how like Lindsay said, like they started off with a film that was so low budget, and I don't think they were expecting the success that they were going to get with it, and like I don't know if they had intentions of having like so many sequels, but the way that they've done it is like each sequel you think, okay, that's it. You know, I mean, there can't be any possible way that they can continue with this, but then they're able to like build layers and like intertwine everything, and there's always a reason for everything that's happened, and you notice wee things in the background from a previous film. You're like, I know your face of somewhere, and then it turns out like there's always something going on. It's every moment's planned for, and it's actually like the thought that goes into it, like, because I would not be able to plan anything like that. So it's like the intelligence and like it's such an interesting franchise, but I do have a limit of what I can watch of it, because like if it's certain like sequences like for traps and stuff, I have to skip it because it's just too violent for me. So like I do like the backstory, it's just some of the traps are just a wee bit too far for me. That's my big long-winded. What about you, Shaun?
For me, funny enough, the traps are actually the least interesting part for me. The reason why I love this franchise so much is actually more almost like I don't know if you class it. It's hard to decide whether the traps or the actual people behind them are like the A or the B story, really. But basically, it's more for me about the people, like obviously John Kramer, the reason why he did it in the first place, and then when it goes on to his apprentices and what their motives are and all that, and almost like the investigation of who is the Jigsaw killer, who, and then obviously who is actually taken over from it. That was more interesting for me. And yeah, I think I would, if I'd probably say just because I'm a stickler for the originals, the first one is still for me the best. And then it kind of goes, like I say, it gets to a point where it gets like borderline ridiculous. I mean, the last film is where I was just like, nah, we are done here. End this now because you've run out of ideas.
Jigsaw or the final chapter or so?
It was Jigsaw. The like I don't know where it was in the timeline. I think there was something about like spoilers. I'll get the spoiler warning out here now. But like he was like the guy who was actually the killer was the first original apprentice of, and then he had to do something about like he had to go through the exact same thing he did to prove himself like 10 years later. So I was just a bit like, yeah, we've run out of ideas here. We're just basically throwing apprentices in left, right, and center. But I've always enjoyed the detective side of it, the like almost like the investigation side of it about who's who and that. And it was very rare that, like I say, I don't know if this is just my psychology here, but it was very rare a trap really got to me, if I'm being honest. I think, funny enough, obviously we can discuss what the best trap was, we all thought later, but there was at least one trap I know that really got me, and it's funny enough not for the reasons that I thought it would be. But no, I just absolutely love it for, like I said, more the investigation side.
That's what I'm looking forward to with Spiral, because we've had like detectives in that in the past, but we've never had it really in their like point of view before. I know we had it in the second one a little bit, but it was more focused on, you know, the people that were going through the traps and stuff. So, and this one seems to be more about the actual detectives rather than, you know, the killer or the people that are getting trapped in these traps. But yeah, that's what I'm looking forward to, that, because it seems to be more on the detective point of view instead of flashbacks, you know what I mean, like flashbacks to the detectives and stuff like at. So yeah, that's what I'm looking forward to. If that made any sense, I felt like I was pure rambling there.
No, it did. Yeah, that's the you got a spot on it, Lyn. It looks like it is basically a Saw film, but from the police side of things now, because I think whoever this new killer is, they're targeting policemen now. Who I think Chris Rock actually says in the trailer he never targets cops, even though I'm sure there's at least one or two he's targeted. So it's a bit like I'm not sure about that. I don't know. Obviously, the detective from the
Matthews.
second film, I think Eric, was it Eric his name?
Eric Matthews.
Yeah, obviously he wasn't involved in a trap, but maybe it's a case of the apprentices, I think, more targeted cops than John Kramer did. But it kind of gives a Seven vibe, like it's all going to be like all these murders are going to be happening, and it's all going to be following Chris Rock trying to investigate who this new Jigsaw killer is, because it is a completely brand new person. I mean, they've changed everything. The only thing that's really stayed is the pig masks.
Mhm.
If you've watched the trailer, I mean, the voices have changed. I think there's a new puppet as well. I don't think Billy the Puppet is going to be in this one, because I think there was like a pig policeman puppet that you saw at the end of the trailer. So I don't know if that's obviously who the new puppet's going to be, but yeah, it just looks all interesting. Like I say, I spoke with this in the previous video when we talked about Spiral in our like best 2021 films. It looks gorgeous. It does. You watch that. If you look at it compared to the other Saw films, like sometimes they didn't look that good, but this one looks absolutely fantastic. It looks like someone's actually taken time to actually say, let's make a good looking movie.
I said that in the trailer reaction. It does look like a well-made film, and it looked really well edited as well. It looks like a beautiful, well-made film. I'm really looking forward to it.
But Emma, what are you expecting from this new film?
Well, I'm a bit late to the party. I mean, I just found out Samuel L. Jackson was in it like 2 days ago, so I'm literally going in with no expectations. I'm literally just going in with nothing, like a blank slate. I can't even recall the trailer right now in my head. Like, I think I can remember one part or something. Like, my head's like a sieve now, so like I'm going in like just blank. So I'll be one of the ones that I hope it's going to be like when you're not expecting anything and you're just going in and then it just hits you all at once and you're like, oh my god, this is amazing. Like, I've not had that in a while, so I'm hoping that I'm going to get that kind of like feeling it, because I miss going to the cinema. I mean, I feel as if like when you go out, it's always like just you've seen it so many times and you're just like, okay, it's getting kind of boring now. But if it's like you say, there's no Billy the Puppet or like fresh voices, fresh faces, fresh characters, then it's been like what, 12 years or 11 years between.
Yeah, I think, what was the last one? Was Jigsaw 2011 or something like that?
So the last act, see, I always forget that Jigsaw's in it. Like, it's a missing part of the Jigsaw.
Yeah, you missed the one that everyone misses it.
I always forget that one. Like, so in the last actual, like the final chapter of Saw was 2010, I think it was. And I think maybe the Jigsaw one was about 2015, I want to say. Around about then.
Yeah, something like that.
Well, it's been either 11 or 6 years. It's been a fair whack. Like, I mean, like, it's not like the other ones when it was getting released, it was like yearly or like every 2 years or something. So it's been a time period between it. So it'll be interesting to go in and see. Hopefully, I'll get time to actually go down and to see it. So fingers crossed. Me and Lindsay tried to go see it last week, but it all kind of went. Lockdown happened again.
Yeah, no, I was going to go and see it because I thought the cinemas near me were open, but the one I usually go to wasn't. So I was just like, oh, right, then I'll try and watch it somewhere else.
Has any of your cinemas actually opened, or?
I think one of the Odeons near me, I believe, is open, because I've got a mate there who works there, and he's working, so I imagine it's open. Because what else can you do if it's not open?
Yeah.
But yeah, obviously, like I say, there's new stuff happening. Whoever this Jigsaw killer is, they've obviously scrapped whatever John Kramer did. What do you guys think? because obviously it's called Spiral from the Book of Saw. What do you guys think from the Book of Saw is implying? Have you got any theories, ideas of what that could actually mean? Because it was a strange little bit to put at the end.
Copycat, maybe, like someone that was obsessed with John, or maybe, you know, Saw likes to do twists, so maybe John's baby actually survived and didn't die. And you know,
Um,
we don't know what to expect with
Yeah, it's
so you know what I mean.
the only
So
possible, like, because I've looked at a couple of theories, and apparently from someone made the theory that maybe someone has got John Kramer's engineer book, because in Saw 2, I think someone pointed out you can see his book with all his traps and ideas, or like drawings and everything like that, is on the table when he's chatting with Eric. And apparently the theory might be that someone might have that book and basically have structured the traps from that book. That there's other theories that I'm trying to think what else there was. I think that was the main theory, that obviously someone's got that. That's what it means from the Book of Saw. Is that book literally? It's from the book.
mm-hmm.
But I think other people have said it might be more of a cult now. Jigsaw actually might be a cult, because obviously you got the survivors.
Was that not what they were going for though? I think it was not Jigsaw, but the one before that, when Dr. Gordon came back and you saw people in cloaks and kidnapping people and stuff like that.
Yeah,
So
I didn't. I mean,
like that.
That's another theory. That's another theory as well. What does Dr. Gordon actually play a role in this? Because obviously, the way Saw 7, the final chapter ended, he was the last one standing, as far as we know. But it doesn't. I don't know if he's going to be in this.
I doubt it.
I really do doubt it. If they wanted, I mean, I can't see what they could do if they said he was in it, because I think he was just literally doing that last little thing for Kramer. If obviously if this happens to my wife, do this, and obviously Jill was killed in the 7th film, and basically he got Hoffman at the end. Even Hoffman might be a theory, because in the end you don't see him die. You'd be asking yourself, if he was there, how the hell he got out. But there's so many possible. I think that's what makes this film so exciting. There are so many possibilities, because I think they've actually done the smart thing and left a big massive gap between films, rather than obviously, Emma, like you said, literally they were coming out every single year at one point. I think 2, 3, 4, and 5, and 6, and maybe even 7, like were literally simultaneous. And I think you eventually get sick of it.
Well, this is the first Saw film that's not going to be released on Halloween.
Oh, really?
I guess they must have really confidence in it, because obviously it's being released during the summer period, which is like considered the big blockbuster period. So they must really be confident with it. Whereas obviously, like with the other films, it's like, yeah, just release as a Halloween film. That'll do.
Well, as well, like, because this year there's not, I don't know how many films have been held back. I mean, like, it's not, we don't have our usual like summer blockbusters like lineup, like, so maybe like they're thinking they're more confident this year because there's not as many contenders, like, because a lot of films have pushed back either to like the end of this year or like the beginning of next year, because they've got that fear that there might be like another lockdown or it'll affect their box office. So maybe like they're just throwing the towel in and seeing like if they can like throwing their hand in the ring and seeing if they can. Well, I think it will do well regardless, but I think they've got more of a fighting chance this time because there's not as many. Like, that makes sense.
Yeah.
Could work. But I mean, what were your guys' reactions when you had, obviously, I mean, you just mentioned you just recently found out, but Chris Rock and Samuel L. Jackson. I mean, for me, this is not the kind of film Chris Rock is really. This is not the kind of thing he's really associated with. And I'm going to be honest, I think might be something that might have been a bit like Samuel Jackson might be too big for. So there must be something that like really sold him on it to be involved in basically what is basically a Saw film. So, I mean, what were you guys' reactions?
Well, I think it was like a really well kept secret because literally like it wasn't until like I think I saw like the trailer a couple of days ago, like the newest one, and I'm like, has he always been there, or like I was have they kept it like back, or like I'm like, I would have noticed him like because he is not that way he is in quite a few films, but that would have been like the main like advertising thing, like Samuel L. Jackson's in it, but it was focused on Chris Rock, which is good because it's his film, and it's very nice to see him in a more serious role because I don't think off the top of my head I can't think of any serious roles. So and he's getting good reactions from like the trailers and that. So, but like I thought like if he would have been Samuel L. Jackson would have been more of the forefront, but like, sneaks him right in there, man. Sneaked him right in.
Yeah, because I will admit from the first trailer I was thinking, okay, Samuel L. Jackson's going to be flashbacks. Because I was thinking, all right, he's going to be like, I don't know, an old partner or something like that of Chris Rock's, and he's going to be like the flashbacks or something like that. Like you'll have like you'll see his story, he'll get in a trap, he'll die, and then we move on to Chris Rock. But no, the second trailer basically implied that it's going to be they're both in the same timeline, and obviously Samuel Jackson's playing Chris Rock's dad. So, and it seems like if the age is correct, that means maybe Samuel Jackson's character would have been there during the original Jigsaw killings. Maybe, I don't know. I don't know if he's going to have memories or he's going to be able to tell stories about the Jigsaw killer. And I mean, the way he says a Jigsaw copycat, he almost like says it like not again. like he's almost like he's seen these copycats already. So I don't know. It's interesting. Like I say, this is probably probably the biggest names that have ever been in the Saw franchise outside of, I would say, Dr. Gordon. But even then, I think Kerry Elwes, who played him, was like past his prime, like kind of
thing. I didn't know who he was. Like I didn't know who he was at all when I saw the first one. So
when I saw him, I was like, oh look, it's the guy from Robin Hood Men in Tights, or it's the guy from The Princess Bride. That's like, there he is, sawing his foot off.
Oh. Do you know, I didn't even click it was him until after I had like I knew who Carrie was, but like I can't see his second name, so I'm just going to call him Carrie. I knew he was because I really enjoyed Princess Bride when I was growing up, but like, and then because I always thought he was very attractive, and then I seen him in this, and I was like, I wasn't making the connection like between the two, like, and I was like, I know his face was somewhere, like, and then I was like, no, that's not him. So like I think him and Donnie Wahlberg might have been like the most, for me. I'm a Donnie Wahlberg fan. I'm always going to fight his God. I think because he, like, if you were born at a certain time period, like we were like 90s or like late 80s, so I think we're more open to that, those kind of films or like the music and stuff, so we'll know them maybe through that. But if you were like coming fresh off the boat, like I don't think you would know who he was. Like I think it might be, I don't actually know anybody else is in it. Like
I knew kind of most of like actors and actresses in all of the franchise, but I wouldn't say that like there were big names, you know, just people from either like teen TV shows and stuff like that. Because one of the girls, one of the convicts in the second one, she was in One Tree Hill. I can't remember.
Supernatural as well.
She was in Supernatural as well. Yep, that's what I'm talking
about. There's
also,
I was going to say, there's also a Scottish link. There's a Scottish link between with Saw 3, because I think, I don't know, the guy who obviously slits Kramer's throat at the end, the guy who actually goes through the traps and everything like that, that's Robert the Bruce from Braveheart.
Shut up. Is it actually
Braveheart? I had to double check. He looks familiar, and then I typed in on IMDb. He came up. I was like, okay, what's he been in? I was like, Braveheart. I was like, he's Robert the Bruce from Braveheart. I knew it.
Oh, I can see it now, like his face. But like,
I think it's because he's got such a big beard. And he's actually, obviously, he's a bit more weighty in Saw 3 compared to like the way he was in Braveheart. But yeah, I was so shocked. Also, the guy, what's his name? I've literally got his name here. Peter Strahm, I think, the guy who is in Saw 4 and then like, basically has to stab himself with a pen in the neck.
Oh yeah, he's in Gilmore Girls.
Sean Patrick Flannery in the final chapter was a favourite of mine as well. He was young Indiana Jones, and he was in the Boondock Saints with Norman Reedus, and he's in hundreds of things, but that's the two that I know from.
I think it's either people that you kind of like recognize, but then like what were they out of, and then when you find out what they're from, you're like, oh yeah, or it's like I say, up and coming people.
Still can't believe that's Robert the Bruce. That's really blowing my mind. Like,
you're never gonna watch Saw 3 again. Saw 3's just gone up in ranking because Robert the Bruce is in it.
Well, Robbie. Oh no, aye. So it'll be nice, like, because I think this one will be people who, like you said, a big name. So everybody across the board, even if they're not like a big fan or they've only seen a couple of things, everybody across the board will know these two faces. Like,
yeah, I think Chris Rock is actually the one who's like really got this film off the ground, because I think he's an executive producer as well, and I think he went to Twisted Pictures and said, "I've got an idea for a new Saw film."
Oh, right. Yeah.
And so I think this is all kind of like his baby in a way. So I don't know what idea he had. So just have to wait and see. So guys, what do you think about the new voice, the new kind of look that this killer has? What do you guys think?
I think it sounds like a more feminine voice, like the recording, like I know like we're used to like John Kramer's like deep voice, like so like whenever the recording starts or like the wee video, like you're expecting his voice, but comes out and it's, I don't know, it's not as, I think it is more soft spoken, and like I don't know if does that make sense? Like,
yeah,
you've not, to me, it gave off like as if there was like a female voice like behind the recording. Like if you had to take away all that digitized stuff, like I think it would be.
What are you saying?
Just me.
No, I agree with Emma. I think you know, it does sound like more like a kind of feminine kind of voice as well. I don't know, I'm getting kind of like a amateur kind of thing, like maybe this copycat doesn't really know what they're doing sort of thing. Maybe they mess up, I don't know, but yeah, I like the look. I do like the voice, but like Emma says, you're kind of expecting, you know, hello, Dr. Gordon. You know, you're expecting that voice, but obviously it's different. But that's what we want, right? We want something different. We want something new and fresh. So, and this film is clearly going to give us that. So, yeah.
Yeah, because it's not even a tape recorder anymore. It's a USB pen.
We've upped it in the world.
It's like, what a way to make yourself timely. Just it's a USB pen. But yeah, I don't. Well, I guess you could say it's amateurish, but it might be even clever, because if the killer ends up being a guy, then that's a brilliant way to disguise your voice if you're going for the more feminine kind of tone, because it does sound a lot more feminine. I agree with you. It still creeps the hell out of me. I will admit, when the first time I heard it, I thought, wow, that's a lot creepier than Billy the Puppet. But I don't know if it's a case of like at this point now, Billy the Puppet, it's almost like the voice is almost like a parody of itself at this point. It's like you hear that. I feel like, well, unless you're literally trapped in a room, like, and you have no idea where you are, and you hear that voice. If you're not in that situation, outside of that, it's almost like kind of like you almost like giggle at it now, because it's, I don't know. You've had so many, I think, things parody it. I think people obviously are taking the piss out of it for so long now that it is like, I can understand why they changed the voice and be gone. Well, let's go for something new. Let's go for something fresh, and something that, as you say, like I say, if you heard Billy the Puppet, you're kind of thinking, okay, this is a new Saw film. Someone's just taken over, doing exactly what John Kramer did. But obviously, with this new voice, I guess it kind of implies someone's actually putting some effort in to be a little bit different.
Yeah. just I'm happy with it, but it's just as long as we still have the Saw music.
That
I'm
opening
happy.
like theme or whatever it is, like that.
What was it? I think it's called Hello Zep. Yeah, Hello Zep, because I think that's the first time you hear it is when he is at the end when he plays the tape recorder.
Mhm.
Yeah, but no,
It's just the build up and it all kind of hits in at the same time, like when it's and then it's
like
obviously
literally when the
in the
twist
background,
happens.
and it always like ends in the like
Yeah,
the
you
door.
I
literally-
do love it because like when you play the tape recorder and it does that wee tune, it's like it gives me goosebumps. I get excited. I'm like, right, here we go.
Right, twist is
Here's the
coming.
twist.
Here comes the
The
twist.
twist is coming. Yep. So I pure love it. It gets me excited. So I do hope that they do keep that in.
I'll be honest, I like I say, I think I've watched some of films a couple of times. It always gets a little bit funny at this point because you know that where it goes duh, duh, duh. I'm just like, okay, yeah, there's a twist because the big boobs are coming in now. But no, yeah, the first trailer implied that theme was going to be in there because they kind of gave a little version of it in the teaser trailer.
Sure.
But obviously they didn't do it in the new trailer. I think they did like some kind of like R&B song that was funny enough called Spiral. I actually think it's tied in with the film. But yeah, no.
Yeah, I like that song. I think that song really fitted well with the trailer. I like that.
Yeah. But yeah, like I say, it's got to be in there somewhere. It's got to be it's a simple process. That theme at the end when you want to reveal who the killer is or who the big twist is or something like that. But yeah, no, as long as that's in there, I've got no objections either. It's like one of the only things like I tolerate when it came to the later Saw films. I was just like, oh, at least I'll get to hear the theme at the end.
Do you think we'll get John?
Well, the trailer did give some photographs of him, but whether we'll actually get flashbacks with him in it, I don't think you need them. I don't think you need him. I think he's been dead. Well, to the films, he's been dead over 15 years now, or 10 or 15 years. I think they even mention it. And
Yeah, because he died in the third one, didn't he?
Yeah, he died in the third one, but obviously he was always. I think the idea was he was always present.
Yeah.
Obviously, it's all like you see what his apprentices had to go through. You see what Hoffman had to go through. You see what Amanda had to go through. You see what Dr. Gordon had to do, and obviously the stuff with Jill as well. So, but I don't think there's anything really. It's almost like its own separate thing. Almost like I think in the end, because obviously they said. I remember you saying, Lynn. They said it wasn't a sequel and it wasn't. Did they say a spin-off? A reboot, yeah. But it seems like it's a spin-off, which is kind of a tie for the two. Like it's almost like a middle thing. It's like, all right, it's a spin-off. But I don't know. It's one of those things. I think that's why the film's going to do well is because it's actually giving you questions that you want the answer to.
Yeah.
Like you want to know who this new person is. You want to know what's going on and stuff like that. So I'm happy with it, and just can't wait to. Really can't wait to see it. I can't wait to see Chris Rock just be serious, like a serious detective, because he just looks so good in the trailer.
Yeah, I think he'll be really good in it.
Yeah.
Do you think they'll bring back some of the old classic traps?
Well, I've watched the first 7 minutes, and it's made me keep my tongue in my mouth a lot more than I usually do.
Is a reverse bear trap in it?
I haven't seen a bear trap. It's like a bear trap, but it's not designed to break. It's not. It's more like this.
Okay.
And the tongue's sticking out a lot further than it really should.
Okay.
And basically, yeah, like I say, I'm not going to spoil the trap for you, but obviously you can watch it online. It's on YouTube. The first 7 minutes is the first trap, I believe it is, and it kind of gives the impression that maybe the policemen that have been targeted have done something in the past that they're basically paying for now. I don't know if it's a case of maybe they lied, they did some bad stuff, they're corrupt cops and stuff like that. It seems to give that impression that they're paying for the corruption and stuff like that. And that's
so like is that like the second one then? Because didn't Eric Matthews do that?
Yeah, I think what was it? Eric was like immoral, like he just didn't give a shit. Whereas it seems like these cops that are being targeted specifically might be involved with, like, I don't know, a case that maybe like an innocent man went to jail, or the wrong person was killed, or maybe it might even be a shooting. Obviously, with way things are well going, it wouldn't surprise me if it was an accidental shooting or something like that.
Maybe that's what it is. Like, it's like the team or whoever it is like one of the cops actually committed the murder or whatever, and they and the rest of the team cover it up.
Covered it up. Yeah, it won't surprise me if it's that, because that seems to be. Because
there's a fan theory. There's a fan theory that I read. I know you were talking about fan theories earlier, Shaun. There's a fan theory that the new Jigsaw killer might actually be Eric Matthews' son, and that's why he is so pissed off with the cops.
Yes, I actually saw that. I didn't hear that theory. I actually was thinking, as I was going through the Saw films, I was thinking, okay, who's alive? Who's alive who could potentially be a contender? And all I could think of was Eric's son, who's basically like literally if his dad had just waited like 10 more minutes.
Oh, that was one of my favourite.
That was just incredible. That was like, that's up there with one of the big twists.
I know, because like, see, when I rewatched that and he's going off in one, I'm like, what are you doing, man? Just sit down and listen to him.
He literally said at the beginning, all you have to do is sit and talk with me for what, like half an hour? Was it 30 minutes or an hour or something like that? Just literally talk to me for this amount of time, and you'll get your son back. But because Eric was impatient, believed his son was at the house, he ended up. I think that's.
I know, it's so frustrating. It's so frustrating.
It is,
but
it's so brilliant as well. And funny enough, I feel, if only if it is him, I'll be asking the question. Like, just double check. Do you remember how your dad died? Because it was the equivalent to a cartoon special.
Was that no, like, ice cubes?
Ice blocks.
Ice blocks. That was so stupid.
I couldn't stop laughing. I don't know why. I just was like, this is. I think that's where it was kind of like, I don't know. Is it the jump the shark kind of thing? It was just like he's going to get crushed by ice blocks. But if it is the case, I don't know if it'd be more a revenge for his dad, or maybe John Kramer maybe got to him, might have actually convinced him, maybe. But I mean, obviously, other theories are that there is, like, as we mentioned before, there is a cult of people. There might be a cult of Jigsaw, but I don't know if it'd be the survivors, or if it'd be more. It could be the survivors. Maybe the survivors are like, you know what, John Kramer had a point. We're going to band together and basically take on the police system or something like that. But it could be like just literally people who were inspired by him, like that basically made their own secret cult about it that maybe even John Kramer wasn't aware of. Because I mean, that could happen.
Yeah.
Because I think the scene with there's like a little bit in the trailer, like both trailers, where they're going into a church, and I don't know if you can briefly see like a group session kind of thing. So it does kind of give the vibe of those like survivor group sessions from the final chapter.
Yeah.
But I don't know. It'd be interesting to, like I say, there's so many possibilities. I think that's what's really good about this. Whereas obviously after the fourth film, there wasn't really that many theories on who is what. You kind of knew where everyone was. It was just a case of like wrapping everything up. Whereas this is like, okay, we haven't got a clue what's going on.
I like that though. I like that how we have no idea what to expect with this. We don't know what the outcome's going to be. And that's what's so beautiful about these Saw films is like, you think one thing's going to happen and then it just does like a complete 180 and it's something completely different. So I'm really looking forward to it. It's going to be so good.
The only thing we do know is that Chris, obviously, because both trailers ended with it, is that Chris Rock might be chopping his hand off. Who knows? Obviously, he ends up at least in some kind of trap as well.
Yeah.
But
what's Lyn and Emma? That? That gives me the bulk. You know what I mean? Like, so like how I just love how well, at least
considerate that whoever this jigsaw killer is like, you know what, I'm not going to make him chop off his right hand, which is probably his better hand. I'm going to make him chop off his weaker hand because you know what, the guy needs you need your strong hand, don't you?
No, it was a bit in the
Use
third
my
one, and
strong hands.
Take my strong. It's like you don't even have a hand; it's just a stump. It's like that's my strong one.
see that bit in the third one when it's like Eric Matthews and he like takes something and he's like smashing his foot in, and I was like, oh, like I just why can't I just something nice? Yeah, I mean, don't make it too gruesome.
Well, that's on. Well, that's actually a thing. Do you think there's going to be much? Obviously, they really pushed the gore factor movie by movie. Do you think that this film really needs to really push the gore, or is it a case of no, the traps, just keep the traps to a minimum, maybe 2 or 3, maybe, and that's all you need, and let the rest of the story be like Chris Rock investigating everything? What do you think?
I think it would work better if it's the way that it's making it out to be, like in the trailer, like an investigation, more a thriller than an actual, you know, horror fest, just blood and gore. Don't get me wrong, I absolutely love it. I love gore. The more gore, the better. But I like how this seems to be going on a different direction. So I'm hoping that they stick to that like new direction and just not like the same kind of stuff we've seen before. What about you, Emma?
I'm hoping to keep it kind of minimalistic as well, because that's what I liked about the first couple. Like, it was more about like figuring stuff out. Like, because I think it was the third one is when she's operating on John. So the fourth one is when one of the police officers from the second one. So it was the Donnie Wahlberg's character, the girl, the female character, and then the other male who I can't even remember his name. It's been I've watched that many this week, so it's now his turn in the fourth one. But I feel as if there wasn't much of a storyline to his. Like it was just doing it for the sake of it. Like so, some of them are like they're only doing it for the gore fest, and that puts me kind of off. Like you don't need all like I understand that people like gore, but there's more like some like some of the traps were like there was one that was the scalping, like that was too far for me. There was the one that the guy's head twisted right round again.
That was in 4, wasn't it? The twisting, where basically the arms and legs were twisted, and then finally the head.
That was like too much for me, but like I liked like the obviously like one of the guys burnt in the first one. It was like a simple trap that it wasn't like I don't know, like I can't explain it. I just if it's too much, they're just doing it for the torture porn thing. Like that's the thing. It's they're catering to a small bit. If they're doing it old school like the first and the second one, that's the best ones because it's all about it's building up the suspense. It's not just doing things for the sake of it. There is a point to each of these. Like if some goes back to the original way, if that makes sense. I don't know if I've explained.
Yeah, because obviously, if you look at the first film, I think like I say, it's been a while since I think the goriest and probably the harshest one was when Gordon cut off his foot, because that's what it was built into. It was built into what would you do? What would you do to survive? And then obviously when he hears his wife and his kid on the phone being attacked, that's his point, and that's when you get to, oh my god, he's actually going to do it. It's building up to you can basically like, because that's been the whole film, chop off your foot and get out of it, or prolong and see how long you last. And then obviously, like I remember the second film when Amanda got thrown into the bed of nails, the pit of needles.
Yeah,
I was just like, no, but it had a point because obviously Amanda was a drug addict, and that was the point of the trap. And obviously, like I say, when I think it jumped the shark was, I think after Saw 4. But I think the one I remember the most where I was just like, yeah, we're done here, was it Saw 6 where the insurance guy had to go for the traps? And I think in the end
Is that the merry-go-round one?
Yeah.
Is that known as the merry-go-round? No, it wasn't even the merry-go-round that was the one for me. It was when he did it. He completed everything, but it wasn't his decision. It was the wife and son of the guy he rejected who ended up dying, I think dying of cancer. and it was their decision to let him live or die. And he got like, I don't know, he got stabbed with like some acid or something like that, and I think half his body hit the floor. And that's when I was just like, yeah, we're done here. This has gone silly, beyond silly.
I think one of my favourite ones was I think it was the fifth one. It's when if they had all worked together and if they had all like banded together and gave each little bit, or like they would have got out, but they didn't listen. That's the whole point. You have to listen to what he's saying because he does give you a way out. You just have to pick up on it. You know what I mean? Like instead of just flying, because what does it say is do the opposite of what your instincts tell you, or something along those lines.
Yeah.
And then it's when you get to a certain point, they're like, we shouldn't have done all that. Like there was the regret, like, but they still carried on to do it to get out. But they're like, this is like, there was the moment they're like, fuck, like.
Yeah, because wasn't like if they literally got through it, they would have had to give up less blood because obviously they had to chop their hands, didn't they? But even though it had good intentions, when you see the guy's hand split, you just can't. I don't know. It just had more of a comedy vibe to me. It was just like this is kind of like. Ooh.
That was like I think it was the last chapter. I'm sure it was where the opening scene and it's two guys and a girl in the middle of a shop or something like that, and I'm like, what the hell is it? It
was like a window shop, wasn't it?
Yeah, and everybody could watch and see it and stuff like that. And I'm like, what the hell is going on? Because at one point I actually thought, is this a movie? Is someone made a movie of these like jigsaws or is something like that? But it turned out, no, it was actually a part of the film. And I'm like,
yeah, because I will admit, when I watched that, I was thinking, this is a very random way to start it. Because obviously the way 6 ended was Hoffman like survived the bear trap, but he still lost a bit of his face. And then when you get to the 7th film, you're thinking, okay, we're going to be on Hoffman. But then we start with this trap where you got 2 guys and a girl literally like deciding which one gets the chop. And you just got this whole, no, it's going to be me. I love her. Yeah, and then they find out. They basically both the lads decide, like, no, the bitch got to go. Bros before hoes. It's basically bros before hoes. That's the ultimate bros before. But Lyn, well, there you go. I mean, you mentioned like one of your favorite traps. Lyn, what's one of your favorite traps?
Mine's I think it has to be Amanda's bear trap, the face trap thing, and the first one, because I remember watching that and I was I was like at the edge of my seat going, what is going on? Oh my God, is it going to go off? Is it going to go off? Is it going to kill her? Is it going to kill her? I was like, it was so suspenseful as well. It was so good the way they did it and the way they done like the fast track with her face going flopping about and never and try to get it off. I really, really enjoy that. So I have to say they're one of the original traps has to be my favorite. I can't, there's been too many to actually think what like my favorite death is.
See, I've got a favorite death, but like I mentioned before, it's not for like the reason like of how it's just every time I see this death, I'm just thinking of something else. I'll mention it. Basically, it's when it's Peter Straum's death when he gets. What I was thinking of. I mean, it's one of those things. It's like it's a little bit frustrating because like the tape says go into the glass coffin and you'll be fine, but he's obviously like suspicious and all that, and then obviously he gets crushed. But when he's getting crushed, I'm just got the Gilmore Girls theme in my head. I'm just like, if you're out on the road while he's getting crushed. That's just my so sick, twisted humor. I'm just like, yeah, I'm just seeing Luke from Gilmore Girls. I'm not seeing anyone else.
That one made me really like anxious. Like,
oh, then when you see the arm, like, and then I will admit, I was thinking, like, when he was crying, and it was just like that moment of pause. I was just thinking, you shouldn't really be like, have they stopped just so we can get the crying shot? It's just like, yeah, we'll stop for a minute. We'll let him scream. We'll let him squeal for a little bit, and then we'll finish him off.
Oh.
Mine has to be the guy like it was the second one where they're in that like empty house and they get told not to open the door, but the guy goes to open the door anyway and gets a bullet to the eye. I like that, and I like that because obviously we weren't expecting it. We weren't expecting anything at that point. They were just in a room wondering where they are. So I
Yeah,
like that.
was the gun like positioned behind the keyhole, or was it just
Yes.
It was the eye bit, the bit you looked
Yeah.
at.
I just love
Mhm.
that. While he's opening the door, it's like, yeah, you know what? Someone's going to put their eye through that keyhole, so I'm just going to put the gun there, just in case they decide to peep.
That's what John says. It's all about predicting how someone's going to react. Like, so he's covering all these bases. Like, but that literally started that off with a bang. Like that's the aim. They're up now. Like it's time to go. Like they don't hesitate. It's right into the games after that.
Because that's all it is, isn't it? It's about like human instincts. If you're in that situation, you're going to do the same things the people do. You're not going to listen. You're going to panic. You're going to try and cheat your way out of it. So it's interesting, like with John Kramer, is like because humans are so predictable. He knows what we're going to do because of those instincts that we have, instead of just sitting and listening to the actual rules.
Yeah, what did he say? It's basically a new appreciation on life and that. So obviously, like Dr. Gordon, like survived, and like literally, he did the unthinkable. He chopped his ankle, he sawed his ankle off, and ends up basically surviving the rest of the whole franchise. But then everyone else, like even the ones who survived, like you say, Amanda survived her trap, but in the end, her downfall was that she was making traps that nobody could win. Obviously, you had the one where she had to put her hand in the acid to get the key, and she did it, but it wouldn't let her out. And in the end, did tear her ribs apart or something like that?
Yeah, it's because it was all connected to her ribs. There's no way actually getting out of that trap, like regardless of whether you would win it or not. Like,
yeah, and I think that's what isn't that what Kramer said basically to her before she died? It's like basically your traps were unwinnable. So how could anybody have an appreciation on life if they can't win?
But wasn't Hoffman like manipulating her and stuff? Because he was trying to get her out.
Yeah, because I think Strom says that basically Amanda couldn't get that guy up there, so there had to be a muscle. There had to be a muscle. Yeah, because I think Hoffman, like, did he do the pendulum?
Yeah.
And then basically Kramer found out about that, and then put him to the test with a shotgun and everything like that.
No, that was his kind of, because he was doing a copycat of him to get back at his sister's killer. Like,
yeah, someone killed the sister. I think the guy killed the sister, and basically, like I say, he just gave him a pendulum. It was just
that's right, because he started off as a copycat. Like he killed his sister's boyfriend, and John noticed it and then went to him and then offered him an apprenticeship, didn't he?
I would like to say, like, do you want an apprenticeship? Come on down to John Kramer. We got plenty on offer.
You know what I mean?
I would like to offer you an apprenticeship.
You want to be the
Is just stabbing people too blasé for you? Then find a creative way to kill people. Join John Kramer. Apprenticeships are ongoing.
Oh man!
You know what I mean, no?
So, who's your favorite characters of the place?
Favorite character?
I have to say Adam. I liked Adam. I wish we saw more of Adam. Like, I wish we got more of his backstory. Like, why was he being blackmailed? Like, I think there was more to Adam than meets the eye, and I would have liked to have seen more of him. And I think his death was a complete cop-out.
Yeah, you could definitely tell that, like, the people who did the second film were just like, yeah, we can't be bothered with him.
Like, don't get me wrong, the actor can't act for shit. He's an amazing writer, but he's a terrible actor. So maybe he just didn't want to be like.
That might have been the case, but you could have just recast him. Just literally get same clothing. He's in the same place. Okay, that must be Adam. They just recast him. But yeah, I get what you mean, because yeah, it would have been interesting, because I imagine, obviously we know about Dr. Gordon and all that. Did Dr. Gordon never ask Kramer, look, can you let the guy out, please? Can you let the other guy out, please, who's stuck in there? I promised him I would get help.
Hmm.
That's one of the plot holes for me. He's like, so what? Adam just never gets mentioned at all while you're putting on this new ankle for Dr. Gordon. But I'm trying to think if I am trying. It's hard to think because there's so many characters, and it's very rare that many of them last more than a film. I think it's like you only get like if you're basically unless you're one of the apprentices, you're not going to really last that long. So, I'm going to go with Hoffman just because I loved the way he operated and everything like that. Just like say he was just
killed Luke. He killed Luke. No, we don't like Hoffman.
no, I liked Hoffman until he killed Jill. That was for me the point where I was like, no, you need to go. Something needs to happen. Because even I was like, oh no, Jill did not deserve this. I think that's the first. Is it Jill the first time you actually see the bear trap properly work? Because Amanda escaped, didn't she? And Hoffman, I think, got out of it.
Yeah.
And then
this is terrible. Jill was the first one to really get the full experience.
Aye. I was going to say that woman in the third one, the doctor, but she had like a detonation ring on it.
Yeah, that was it. It was a shotgun. She basically had the equivalent of like 10 shotguns around her. And if Kramer's heart went flatlined, boom.
I think
I don't have to ask you, Emma, who your favourite character is.
Actually, no. I'm going to surprise you. It's not Eric Matthews. It's Amanda and Jill. They're my two favourites.
Okay.
I like Amanda because like she looks up to John so much after like our after like her experience, and I like how like that was to me one of the biggest shocks as well when it turned out Amanda was part of the second one when she was part of his game as well, like because I thought this is twice she's got it now, like what's she done now, you know what I mean, like, but I like how she like it shows you the difference between John and Amanda, the fact that she didn't like make her traps like escapable. It was like she wasn't picking up on that, and there was just like every time in the third one she has like such a short temper that like he had to keep like bringing her back, like Amanda like because she was always going for a gun, or like she was always really like brutal with the doctor, like, and then like obviously as you get further along as well you see that she was actually one of the reasons why John lost his baby as well. Like she's always there at some point. Like she's got so much like kind of layers to her, and just I don't know, like she would have been such a good apprentice had she followed the rules, like if she had went with the flow, you know what I mean, like. And then Jill as well, like she deserved better because like she was her kind of her own victim. Like she didn't go through the games. She had after like they lost the baby, like John was always like really like aggressive and stuff. Like so she was always getting the flack for something, like, and like the way she like kept back the sixth note as well for it was like Hoffman's one, and like I don't know, there's just something about Jill as well that I think she should have survived it all, like. But
I'll give Jill the edge because she was the reason Dr. Gordon came back. Because that's still one of my favorite Saw endings. Just when it was just like, even though like everyone was like, oh, like it's definitely Dr. Gordon, because if you watch like video footage, if you watch the actual footage, you can see like one of the person in the cloak limping, and everyone was like kind of assuming that's Dr. Gordon then, because obviously the ankle. And I think something like the fire the five were involved in with the trap, I think wasn't that meant to have killed his wife and daughter, like his wife and the daughter were in the fire, something like that. There was loads of theories about how Dr. Gordon's been there the whole time, and obviously the seventh one actually basically was like, yeah, he's involved in every single thing after the first film, but he was just behind the scenes. But yeah, that was I think that was one of my favorite twists, like when he was back. I was just like, yes, just bring him back. The only thing that ruined it was the 3D saw throwing. I was just like,
oh yeah,
ruined it. It was a great moment. He has the saw that he cut his ankle with. I was just like, this is a brilliant moment. And then he's just like, nah, it just froze it. I was just like,
game over. Are we going to get that? Are we going to get the famous quote right at the end? Game over.
Well, funny enough, the new voice doesn't say I want to play a game. I think the voice goes, do you know, like obviously says, hello, detective, whatever your name is like, do you know where, I think at the beginning of the trailer it says, do you know where your detectives are? And then at the end it says, do you know where your father is? So I think that's, I mean, that might be where that quotation's going now. So basically, do you know where this person is? I don't think we're going to get game over.
No.
I don't know. I don't know. It might be. They might do a reiteration of game over. They might not say literally game over. They might say, "All right, it's done" or something like that. I don't know. Maybe, who knows?
I would like that.
As well, see like how like the third and the fourth one, see like how they were like, it took me ages to realise they were at the same time. Like they were all like, I mean, it was like as I was watching it, like because I've done like one every night, I got to the third one and I said, okay, so that's where he comes into it, and then like you see like, oh, it's just amazing. I don't know if they've planned to have sequels or if they're just winging it when it comes to the follow-ups, because like, okay, and the next one, okay, he was actually there as well, because you never know Hoffman was there until like further down the line, and he was the one that was shutting the door, and then as soon as like he shut the door, they came in and the scene played out as it already did. I was like, who comes up with this stuff? You know what I mean? Like, so the fact that
he saved the girl, didn't he? He saved the little girl.
Yeah, he saved the little girl so he could be the hero. So maybe he had put the girl aside. Like maybe that was like Amanda's. Once she was done, that was Hoffman's part of the job and stuff like that. Like,
just realised there's another possible contender: the girl who survives in Saw 3. The one where he's just like, "I'm the only person who knows where your daughter is, and you've just killed me."
Aye.
Oh yeah.
I don't know why she would be involved, but I don't know. Maybe obviously when you're a little kid and shit like that's happened to you, maybe you're just like, yeah, I'm going to find out a lot more about this. So, like you say, there's so many contenders. There's a kid from Saw 2. There's a kid from Saw 3. Dr. Gordon could be there, but again, I don't see any reason for him to be there. And like I say, there could be a cult. Who knows? God knows.
So you need to go see the film.
Yeah, we need to go see the film. You need to go and see the film.
We're living vicariously through you. Do you know what
I will
really
try. I'll try and go. You know what? I might even go check and see if the Odeon's open and just go and see it. Who knows? And I'll just be like, guys, you got to go and see it. Just sneak in somewhere or download it illegally or something like that.
You know what really annoyed me in the
no, we don't do that, Shaun. What you talking about? No.
Oh yeah. Sorry, I forgot. We don't do that. Other people do that. Yeah.
No, not us. Not us.
You're good people.
Yes.
You're good people.
I know. See that lassie that's in Strasses or Strams or whatever his name is. Luke. I'm just going to call him Luke because I can't say second name sometimes.
Luke from Gilmore Girls. We'll just call him that.
Lee Luke's partner who got like the thing to the face, and they made it look as if she died, so that Hoffman believed that all ties had been linked up, and then she turns around and she was alive all along, only to die like 2 seconds later. What was the point in that? What was the point in that whole thing? Why'd you just leave her dead? She was in it for 2 seconds. I mean, that was a waste of my time.
He gave me hope. So we also just realizing that the last film, Jigsaw, what's the guy's name? The guy's name, the Logan Nelson. Apparently, he was an apprentice of Jigsaw. Like, apparently, he was considered the first one, but he's still around. Could he potentially be a suspect, or are we trying to stay away from the Jigsaw film as much as possible?
Is that one of the ones that doesn't count? Is that like our version of what doesn't count? Or that might be the 6th one for me, I don't know.
I know, Lynn's giving me a look like, yeah, that doesn't count. We are not acknowledging that.
It didn't happen.
No, that was... when the final trap is lasers, then we know it's like, nah.
Lasers from the glasses, woo, I'm going to kill you, woo.
Lasers, and then they just like... slams his head. He just just came out. It was just like, oh, this is ridiculous. And that was definitely some of the worst CGI I've ever seen in my life.
Yeah. That's a taboo topic. This Jigsaw film.
It just wasn't. It was similar to Five. It was like a little bit. It was similar. Like say, you had the trap where you had 5 people. It was near enough. What was it? It was actually literally a copycat, wasn't it, of the fifth of Saw 5? Was it? Because they had the helmet trap where they had to like outrun the rest, or you got decapitated.
Yeah.
And then I can't remember if it maybe did something different, but I think it was in a barn or something like that this time.
Yeah, it was in a barn. One of the guys got their leg cut off. The girl with the needles, that was the acid. She was the shoplifter or the thief. She died next. And then it was the boy and the guy in the actual spiral, the hot spiral. And then it was the two of them left at the last bit after he got his leg amputated. So that very first scene was like legit, like shot for shot, like the decapitation scene. You know what I mean? Like,
yeah, because I think there wasn't like one. There was one in modern time, but there was like one 10 years ago or something like that. And I don't know if they like intertwined or something like that.
It just became rather confusing, didn't it? It was just like I couldn't even enjoy it. I was that confused about it. I'm like, what the hell is going on? Like it just, yeah, it just, and then the twist. It was just very underwhelming. I just didn't enjoy
I don't think I remember they even played the theme. I don't think they played the theme. It was like the one time they didn't play the Saw theme. I was just like, yeah, this is why you put the Saw theme. This is why you put the Saw theme at the end, because it at least makes the twist, no matter how shit it might be.
Did he say game over as well? I can't remember. I think I've only ever seen Jigsaw one.
Well, you go. That's a question I'll ask you. We'll get away from Jigsaw. What are the, obviously we'll say 7 films since we're ignoring Jigsaw. What was your favourite twist?
Has to be the first one, right? I mean, like.
Oh, well, when Kramer gets up.
Yeah, the first one has to be my favourite because, like I said earlier, it was just like jaw hanging down the floor, like, oh my God, what? I thought he was dead. It was, yeah, that was like a pure big like shock factor to me. So I need to, the first one for me.
I think the first one as well. I'm trying to think of the other twists. Like the only one I can think of is the one if they had all worked together. That's all I can think of. Or like Eric hadn't sitting there, but like I don't know, like it didn't. I don't know. Nothing's really jumping out at me. Like I don't know. No, I'm going to go for the first one as well. Then. What were you, Shaun?
Well, I did say earlier that the 7th one was like a favorite, obviously, but that was just more that was just more nostalgia for the fact that Dr. Gordon was back. But I think if you go for a proper good twist, yeah, the first one it's hard to top. I think maybe Amanda being revealed, because obviously she was in the trap. She was in the game. In the second one, you didn't think she'd actually be in it, but then obviously it was revealed that she actually was Kramer's apprentice, and the fact that she basically went into that bed of needles like voluntarily, nearly. But yeah, I think the first one would have to be the best, because I think the rest were like either this person's dying, that person's dying, but you thought they'd live and stuff like that. But whereas obviously the first one, like I say, you thought the guy Kramer was dead, for the whole film, and for the whole film he was just lying there, and he just gets up.
It's like the opposite.
I don't even think that's the worst part. I think the worst part for me was when he says the key was in the bathtub, and the first shot gave you the twist that the key went into the sink, he had the hole, and he literally, if he just like stayed calm and just been a lot more calmer in the way he got out of the bath, he would have been able to get out. So I'll stick with. We're all unanimously going with the first one, aren't we?
I didn't stand a chance.
I think it's just because we say the first one, because obviously it was the very first one. We didn't expect like, obviously in future movies after that we did expect like some sort of twist, you know what I mean? So in the first one we didn't know what to expect at all from the first one. So, and it was a huge shock. So I think that's why a lot of people do say, you know, the first one is the best for a twist, because you did not see it coming at all.
Yeah. So go on, guys. I'll ask you. We're obviously with Spiral coming out. What? Obviously, I'm asking you to do this with 8 films. What would be your worst to best with regards to ranking for the Saw films?
Oh, my worst to best. You've just asked me out of order. I'm going to have to work backwards.
Just go back to front.
I know, but I can't see one because my pen ran out, so I'm just like inscribed it into the paper. Like, okay, 6 was the worst one for me because when I was rewatching it, I had no recollection of watching this film at all, except the merry-go-round bit, which was kind of, I don't know if that says much about me. Then it's number 4 with the guy that I said there was no plot to the. I felt as if there was no plot to it at all. Jigsaw was next. 7. Then 5, and then top 3 is 3, 1, and 2. I will take no judgment. 2 is the best one.
No judgment at all. Because I got mine here. I think I went Jigsaw bottom, and because there's no love for that film. I think I did Saw 4 7th, because as you said, there was really no plot, and yeah, but that's really when it jumped the shark, really, with the ice blocks. I put Saw 7 because I gave it a little. I was a little bit like sympathetic with it. It was like, you had a good ending. You were basically like not really that good for the whole thing, but you had a good ending.
You tried.
Yeah, you tried. I'll give you effort, and I think the 3D didn't help it either. I think I did Saw 6 just because I like the insurance. The guy, even though he's meant to be seen as like a bit of a dickhead, he actually was a nice character, and I actually did feel bad when he died. I actually wanted the kid and the kid and the mum to go and join their dad in death. Where I was like, it's like, no, do the right thing, let him live. He's gone through enough. No, die. I was like, Saw 5 because, like I say, if I'm seeing Gilmore Girls when a man's getting crushed, it must be doing something right. And then obviously 3, 2, and 1. So the first one's still my favorite.
Oh, mine's probably last would probably have to be Jigsaw. I found it very underwhelming. It wasn't that greatly made. It wasn't greatly acted. It just done absolutely nothing for me at all. Next one would probably have to be 6. It was okay, but I just didn't particularly enjoy it. I couldn't be bothered with the whole flashbacks, and I know you say that Jill was like both of yours like favorite characters. She just like the flashbacks with Jill and Jill running about, and it just done nothing for me at all. And probably the 4th one, just again with you, the same opinions as you. Just there was nothing really to it, was it? And wasn't it 7? Now I've put 7 a bit further up because the same Shaun, because of Dr. Gordon, because I remember like when I saw him, I was like, oh my God, Dr. Gordon. I get nostalgia feelings as well when I was really excited. So yeah, I had to be 7. So 7 is there. I forgot where I'm at.
So we'll never know.
So 7 and then 5. Did I already say 5?
I don't think you mentioned 5.
Okay. And 5. I did like 5. What? Hello.
Have we lost Emma?
Did we freeze?
No, me and you are still going. Emma's paused.
Okay.
Emma's frozen.
Emma. Is anybody alive out there? But yeah,
I was just like, oh God, what's happened?
but 5, I liked 5. I liked the wall. Well, oh, Emma's gone.
Let me see if we can get it. You keep going. I was trying to see if we can get it back.
I like, the twist, and when Luke from Gilmore Girls is getting crushed by the wall, I like that. So 5th, and then obviously 3, 2, 1.
Yeah, so you got the same as me. So it's basically we're all establishing the first 3 were good.
Yeah.
We'll see if we can get Emma back before we wrap up. I'm trying to think what else is there to really talk about. I don't think there is really. Well, I guess one thing I can ask you, Lyn, before obviously if we get Emma back, I'll ask her as well. What are your hopes for Spiral? What are you wanting out of it?
Ooh, like I've said, I want something different, something fresh, and I think that's what we're getting. But I also want nostalgia feels to it as well. Like, I do want to feel like it is an actual Saw movie, and we do need the theme tune at the end, and I want game over. I know you said that you don't think there will be a game over, but I'm hoping that it is game over.
We got you back. You just froze for like a minute. We were just like, I didn't know if you were
like, wait, and then I was like phoning Shaun, and I was in the group chat, and I was like, is it over? Like,
game over, Emma.
Yeah, we just saw you paused. You just weren't moving. It was just like, is she frozen? And then
like, you guys stopped moving in mine because you were like, you got to like 5, and then I was like, then you just stopped, and I was like, what's the name? Like,
yeah, if you mention Saw 5, Zoom just stops.
I can't handle this anymore.
But Emma, I was just asking Lyn, obviously, before we wrap up, what are your hopes for the new film? What are you wanting from it?
Just an old school vibe, like the original. I hope it's like a fresh take on the original. There's no overdone with the traps. It's just a good storytelling, good like detective work, and none of this over the top traps that I'm hitting the bulk at because I have a weak stomach. And I swear to God, if there's one more trap involving bones, or like twisting bones, or breaking bones, or compound fractures, I'm out. Like, I've had enough. Like, well, that bit we were talking about earlier with the Strauss or look or whatever, and he's like, ugh.
Well, I can put your mind at ease, at least for the trap I saw. There's no bones being broken, having to be broken, or any limbs need to be. There's just some things need to be pulled off. That's all I'm going to say. The imagination.
No, just hitting the boat. Like.
But yeah, guys, the first trap from Spiral is on YouTube if you did want to find it and get a vibe for it. But it is kind of, like I say, it's got the whole editing, the swooping shots, the really fast motions of trying to get out of it and stuff like that, the screams and everything like that. So it does seem like it's at least keeping some traditions from the franchise.
Mm-hmm.
But yeah, is anything else anyone wants to talk about before we wrap up?
I just popped into my head, like, see, since we've been doing the theme tune pretty much the whole way through the video, do you want to do a wee intro?
If we like stop at the same, like we're all in different parts of the song, like it's just going to be this mismatch.
Like the start of it, and then someone's gonna have to come in and go. I'll do that because I'll just be like, the ability to just get a goat. It's just like,
it's just like a sheep, mate.
I don't think we can time it perfect enough.
All I can think in my head.
Someone have to start being the violins. I'd happily give it a go, but I don't know where we begin.
I could go. hello, Shaun. Want to play a game? And then you can do the do.
So you're coming out, you're doing Jigsaw's voice, and me and Emma are going to try and do that.
I'll be marching to beat my own drum. You know what I mean? Like,
yeah, if you stick with that, and then I'll just come in with the. I'll come in with the big beats.
I can hear it. Sorry.
That's why I sometimes can't take that theme seriously, because I'm just hearing a. Do you want to give it? I'm happy to give it a go. Why not?
Okay, right. Hold on, I need to let me get some water first before I try to do that voice again.
What I'll do is I'll put a Jigsaw clip over this. It has a bit more of it.
They're not gonna let us back on. Creepers was that like a warning shot, and they were like that. They saw a theme tune, get them out. Your Hellhound band.
Hello, Shaun and Emma. Want to play a game?
I don't even think I'm doing it. I can hear it in my head, but it's not like now how it starts. Like I'm right into like the excitement. Like I'm not playing any games. It's right to the bit. The theme, the twists happened. Everything's let loose. They're going to slam the door, and it's game over now. Bye. You know what I mean?
Like, please, game over. I've just heard them trying to do the theme. Game over, quick.
We can do that for the end as well. When we're finished, we go game over. Like the three of us do it.
Oh God Almighty! Yeah, yeah. I think we need to wrap it up.
It was a gold star for effort.
Yeah,
you say game over first.
Game over.
All right.
No. Silence. No backup. No support.
All right. Yeah. Game over.
Are you alright?
That was actually really good. That was so good.
That's it. The thing is, I've got the editing software, so I can just literally do my voice and just be like, "Yeah, I'll just if I can make my voice into the Mortal Kombat like fight, I can make it."
That sounds kind of Mortal Kombat-ish.
Oh God! There you go. I think we need to wrap this up.
Game over.
Yeah, game over, guys. Aliens, where the guy's like, "Game over, man, game over." That should be the new game over. He's just at the door. He goes, "Game over, man, game over." Just close the door.
That's it. We are leaving.
Right, so we'll wrap it up there, guys. So that's been our discussion on Spiral and the Saw franchise. Leave us a comment down below what you think, what your thoughts on Spiral. If you want to give us your rankings of the Saw films, put it in the comments below. That'd be fantastic. We'll let you know what we think. And if you put Jigsaw at number 1, we will hunt you down and kill you, basically. We'll go full Jigsaw on your ass. But yeah, that's it. Like I say, you... that's really it. I've got nothing else. I'm done. Doing the theme has just completely destroyed me. That's the game now. I want to play a game. You've got to do the Jigsaw theme. Sorry, you've got to do the Saw theme perfect. And if you don't do it, pitch perfect, you're dead.
Oh man, that was really hard because I get really excited and I just get launched into like the big bit. Like I just like to make a lot of noise. Like I don't like the soft bits. I'm like, like for excitement. Like just put the song on in the background. Get like I'm ruining it. Come on, just that can be our like way out. Like I've just cut myself.
I'm not playing the game yet, Emma.
It's too early.
Yeah, guys, I think we'll wrap it up there. So thanks very much for watching.
Shaun said enough. He's like, I'm away. I'm leaving.
I've had enough of these Scots. Talk a little bit
Matt back in. Matt's coming back in for this. This is why I'm done.
Matt's an essential worker.
But yeah, until the next time, guys, we'll see you soon, all right? Bye now.
See you later.
Thanks for watching that video, guys. If you did enjoy it, please don't forget to stab that like button, slash that subscribe button, and you'll be constantly in the know. If you want to see any more of our amazing content, go to www.hellhoundmagazine.com. You can also follow us on Instagram and Twitter. Links are in the description below, as well as the icons along here. That's really it, guys. We always appreciate your love and support. And until next time, stay safe, stay sane, and we'll see you soon.